All right, Abigail, here we are. We're in lesson 68, last lesson of the first semester, and we are talking about scientific calculator, scientific notation, powers, and roots. So let's go through the problems as we see them, and I can explain then. So we know how to do one of these, right? This is from the previous lesson, so we would just do the same thing here, but with a different operation. Times -2 plus square root of 2 over -2 plus square root of 2. So basically we're multiplying this fraction by a value of 1 that is a different operation from what's between the coefficient and the second term, which is a radical. So 1 times this would just be this for the numerator. Now we split it, -2, -2 plus square root of 2, and then we have a negative square root of 2 times the denominator of -2 plus positive, plus the square root of 2. So then we just do the distribution. That would be +4, and then a -2 square root of 2. That would be a positive, so that's the opposite, so they would cancel. And then this would be negative square root of 2, positive square root of 2, which would be a -2. So then we have 2. We know we can reduce this. So this would be a -1 plus 1 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. We could do it like that. I'm not sure if the system wants it that way. The system might want it to remain like this because we can't reduce a coefficient here. So why don't we just type it in like this and see what it tells us? And if it tells us it's wrong, then we know we should reduce it. Plus square root of 2 over 2. And that's right. So that's the way it wants it. And it wants it that way because we can't reduce it and keep it in one fraction, which makes sense. Okay. But we know we could reduce it into 2 terms if we wanted to. Let's look at some of these other problems. All right, so here's one. As the scientific notation, we're going to round to hundredths. Okay. First thing we've got to do, though, is we've got to put this in the proper format, and that's going to be 4.2. So 4.2, and this is going backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is -17 minus 4 would be -21. Right? And so we want to put this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So plus 5. So it'd be to the 10th power. So that would be 5 point, let's say, well, let's just do the whole thing just to make sure, times 10 to the 10th power. All right, so we're going to divide. 4.2 divided by 5.68425. That's going to be 0.7388. We round it to hundredths. I would make this 0.74. So 0.74 times 10. Let's figure out what that is. That'd be a -10. So that'd be -31. All right, so we want to move this back 1. So that'd be 7.4. So that would be -1. So times 10 to the -32nd. So that would be the answer without rounding per se. Let me redo this part right here just to make sure. Let me pull my calculator back up. All right, so if I said 4.2 divided by 5.68425, I'm going to make this longer. Okay, so 7.38884. If I rounded it to hundreds, that'd be 0.739. So let's do that. Let's do that. 0.739, 0.73. Let's just do 8884 times 10 to the negative 31. All right, we got that. And if I move this back one, that's going to be minus another one. So 7.38884 times 10 to the negative 32nd. All right, so if I round that to hundreds, that's going to be 7.39 times 10 to the negative 32. All right, I think that's probably what it means when it says round to hundreds. Let's double check. 7.39 times 10 to the negative 32. That's correct. Okay, so I figured out what it was asking for. So do the whole problem with all of the numbers until you get to the very end and then round it. So that's what we're going to do from now on, okay? And I'm trying to take this thing off, but hang on, but it's not working. All right, next problem. So we're going to round to the ones place value, but we're going to wait to the very end. So I'm going to rewrite this in proper scientific notation. It's going to be 3.7 times 10, and that'd be back. So negative 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 4, this is times 10. Negative 13 and negative 4 would be negative 17. All right, and this would be 7.231 times 10. 1, 2, 3. So 4 plus 3 is 7. All right, so now we've got some values here. 3.7 times 7.231. Okay, that's going to be 26.7547 times 10. And negative 17 plus 7 is a negative 10. And we want to round that. Well, first of all, let's put that in the proper scientific notation. So that's going to be forward 1, so plus 1. So it'll be 2.6757 times 10 to the negative 9. If we round that to the ones place, it's going to be 3 times 10 to the negative 9. And I believe we can check that out. 3 times 10 to the negative 9. And that's correct. All right, this one we're going to round to thousands. So on the calculator, this is what we're going to do. We cannot do this negative number without a calculator. And we can without a calculator, but it would take all stinking day. Just saying. So we're going to put it in the calculator. 1.86. We're going to hit our XY key. And then we're going to put in our exponent of 4.86 negative and hit enter. That's going to be our answer. So 0.048997. 0.048997. And we're rounding that to the thousands. So tens, hundreds, thousands, that's where we're rounding it to. We look over here. Is this 5 or more? Yes. So we add 1 to get rid of these. 0.049 should be our answer. So 0.049 is correct. Same thing. You really just need to use your calculator. So I am going to pull it up. Get it over here where I can see all my functions. So we've got 1.76. That is our base. The x is the first one you type in. Now we're going to type in our exponent, 3.42, negative So 0.144659. This is round to thousands, tens, hundreds, thousands. That's the place we're rounding it to. If this is 5 or more, we add 1 and get rid of those. It is, so our answer is going to be 0.145. 0.145. And we'll check it, and it's correct. See how easy these are. Excuse me. That just came out of nowhere. Okay, some more scientific notation. So 472.2 times 10 to the negative 26 over 1658.27 times 10 to the 10. First of all, not in the proper format, so we got to do that. So 1, 2, so plus 2 spaces, right? 1, 2, plus 2. So it's going to be 4.722 times 10 to the negative 24. And this is going to go 1, 2, 3 to the front, so plus 3. 1.65827 times 10 to the 13. Calculator. 4.722 divided by 1.65827. All right, I'm going to lengthen that if I can. So my answer is going to be 2.847546 times 10. And when I bring this up here, that's going to be negative 37. It says round to the ones place. 2.8 rounds to 3. So 3 times 10 to the negative 37. All right, 3 times 10, negative 37. All right, perfect. All right, let's do another one like that. You can see how easy these are. So what I would like for you to do is to use your calculator, and I want you to solve this one on your own, and then you can press play to find the solution. Okay, so go ahead and pause and see if you can solve this. All right, you should have gotten 8 times 10 to the negative 30 power. All right, the way we got that, first of all, we had to put everything in proper scientific notation, which means the decimal after the ones place. 1 digit in the front, and that's it. So we got 4.18 times 10 to the negative 18 because we went backwards 4 spaces. So negative 14 minus 4 gives us a negative 18. All right, so we move the decimal place forward in the denominator 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces to get 5.01635, and 6 plus 5 is 11. So this is in proper scientific notation. So then I took my calculator and I divided 4.18 by 5.01635. This was my result. Then I took this exponent here and I moved it to the top, so minus 11. You change the sign when you move the base. You change the sign of the exponent. So negative 18 minus 11 is a negative 29. However, this is not in proper scientific notation. We had to move the decimal back 1, so that's minus another 1. So that's a negative 30. And then we had to round this to the ones place, which is the instruction we were given. And 8.3 does not round up. It stays at an 8. So 8 times 10 to the negative 30, which I've already typed in and checked, and it is correct. Next problem. All right, so we know how to do these. This is backwards. We have to rewrite it. Negative 1 plus 3 times the square root of 2. That is in the proper format. Now we're going to multiply by the conjugate. Minus 1 minus 3 times the square root of 2 over minus 1 minus 3 times the square root of 2. All we do is change that operation. And in this case, it was a positive number, so the operation is a plus. So now we just multiply. So 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. 4 times a negative 3 is a negative 12, and that is still times the square root of 2. Now we're going to do this bit. So negative 1 times negative 1 minus 3 times the square root of 2 plus 3 times the square root of 2 times negative 1 minus 3 times the square root of 2. All right, so that's going to be a positive 1 and a positive 3 square root of 2. This is going to be a negative 3 square root of 2. And this is going to be negative 9 times 2 is a negative 18. So this cancels, and this is a negative 17. Well, we know what happens when we have a negative in the denominator. Negative 1 over negative 1 factor is what we multiply by. So this changes the sign of everything. So what we have is 4 plus 12 times the square root of 2 over a positive 17. That should be your answer. We're going to double check that now. 4 plus 12 square root of 2 over 17. And that's correct. All right, next problem. Round to hundredths. So all you need is your calculator. I'm going to get my calculator, put it in scientific mode. All right, so here's what I'm doing. Oops, it's not going to fly right there. All right, so 4.2 square root of. So we're going to use this square root function where I can type in the root and I can type in the index. So for me on my calculator, the way mine works, you type in the x first and then you type in the y. That's the way the this calculator works. So I'm going to type in my x first and then hit this button. So 156 because the x is in the root. And then it wants the y, which is 4.2. And then I hit equal. This is round to hundredths, 3.327917. Hundredths is here. This is more than, if 5 or more, it's more than 4. So we add 1 and get rid of these. So that's going to be 3.33 is my answer. 3.33 is correct. All right. I'm on a roll here. Next problem. Again, same type of thing. You just need your calculator in scientific mode. I'm going to use the same function key, 192 in the square root with an index of 3.8 equals 3.989043. Round to hundredths, that's this place here. 9 is definitely more than 4. So cross that out, add 1. So it's going to be 3.99. And that's correct. All right, fun times. So we're going to do some more scientific notation. So it's not written in proper scientific notation, so I'm going to just write it out here just to make it easier to count the places. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where we want it. So backwards 4. 4.2 times 10 to the negative 21. That's the first one. This one's going to be 5.68425. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's plus 5. So times 10 to the 10. It's plus 5 because we went forward 5. So forward 5 is to the front of the number, that's positive. Okay, so now we just multiply. So we've got 4.2 times 5.68425. So I have 23.87385 times 10. And if I combine negative 21 and positive 10, I get negative 11. Okay. It says round to the hundredths place, but first I got to put this in the proper format. I'm going to go forward 1, so plus 1. So 2.38735 times 10 to the negative 10. Round to the hundredths, that's going to be right here. 7 is more than 4, so I add 1. So 2.39 times 10 to the negative 10 is my answer. So 2.39 times 10 to the negative 10 is correct. All right, again, we just need a calculator for this. Last problem, woohoo! So this one is any base with any exponent, xy. So I'm going to type in my base first, 1.24, hit this button, and then I'm going to type in my 2.73 and make it negative. That's my index, or my exponent, I should say. Hit the equal sign, and it's 0.555852, rounding it to the hundredths right here. This is a 5. It's more than 4, so that means I can get rid of this and add 1 here. So that's going to be 0.56. And that's correct. And that's the last one. So lesson 68 is done. All right. So if you have any other questions about lesson 68, please let me know. It looks like you have not submitted the semester exam for first semester, so I'm going to send you a video on that too. All right, 20 minutes well spent. Bye for now.